What's up everyone, welcome back to Just Finished Coding. This is part 6 of our scrolling platformer game series on Scratch 3, so let's get coding.
Just finished coding.
Now quick interjection here, if you've not watched parts 1 to 5, please watch them before you come here because we're picking up from where we left off and you will be very lost. I'll leave a card for you right here. Please watch the videos and then come right back. If you're still here, I'm going to assume that you've watched parts 1 to 5, in which case you should have your movement, your course, as well as the coins set up. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is to make sure that our traps show up in their proper locations and our player also dies when he either, drowns in the water or he hits one of the traps. Let's get right into it. First, I'll be doing the water sprite because that is a bit easier than the spikes, although both of them are pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is to duplicate the obstacles because our code is very similar to that. And from its costumes, delete all of the costumes, and Scratch by default will keep one. And once again, if you've not downloaded all the files from the Google Drive attachment in the description below, please go ahead and do so. And right now we're going to be using the water sprites. So I'm going to click upload costume, and within the water sprites there are once again two costumes that we can use, and I'm going to click open and now delete the last obstacle. So yeah, that is going to be our water, and what I'm going to do is to edit the X and Y positions initially. So when the game starts, we'd want the X position to be 20 and the Y position to, I believe, be about -210. That should be at the bottom of the screen. And in addition to this, what I'll also add in is a go to back layer because our backdrop is, should be in the back layer. So I'm going to say go to back layer. Perfect. And after this, what you can actually do is head over to the play game message, and we just need one clone. So you don't really even have to repeat 7 or anything like that. So just say set clone number to 2, create clone of myself, and right here, what you can do is set up the X and Y positions, and you don't really even have to. Okay, yeah, you will need a switch costume, but your clone number is just going to be, this is going to be one clone, so you can just have a go to X and Y here, and the X and Y position is going to be, actually I messed up a little bit with the first X and Y position. I made it too much to the, I guess I made it too much to the left. And also for the coins, you can remove that initial go-to that I added for the other sprite. And by other sprite, I mean the obstacle. Okay, I think I removed that. Never mind. So let me rename this water first. And I'm going to remove this go-to X and Y position. Okay, so the X position is not going to be this. It's instead going to be 550, a lot to the right. And the Y position is going to be -240. So once again, it's the exact same as the obstacle, basically right at the bottom of our screen. And I think I actually duplicated the obstacles rectangle for this, and I just moved it to the right. Okay, so for our clone, our X position is going to be 1600, and this is going to be right at the end, okay, right after the trampoline so that we don't go off the edge. So it's going to be 1600 and -240 once again. Okay, those two are going to be our X and Y positions, and after you're done with this, now you can get straight into our spikes and lava sprite. And I just want to make sure that our water is placed correctly, and you can see that our water is pretty neat. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to, let that fall. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to make sure that our spikes and lava is set up. So what you can do is duplicate the water sprite because that's just way easier to do, and we don't have to delete as many things. And I'm going to call the spikes and lava. Okay, and apart from besides all the similar code, we do need to change this to be front layer and not back layer, because if the lava is behind the obstacle, then no one's really even going to see it. So now what I'm going to do is to head over to the costumes and delete this costume, and I'm going to rename this something else so that our costume doesn't have the same name. So now I'm going to click upload costume once again, and I'm going to get in the 3 lava and spike costumes. So those are the 3. You can see they're pretty simple and not that difficult to draw yourself. So if you do want to customize any of these, please go ahead and do so. So now what you can do is to head over to the code, and first we'll be switching costume to 1, and the X position is going to be 20 and the Y position is going to be negative 210. And this is going to be, I believe, between the first two obstacles. Okay, so negative 210. And we're going to have two clones. So what you can do is first set clone number to be 2, then set clone number to be 3, and once again create clone of yourself. And in this case, we'll have, two X and go to X's and Y's. So I'll add in an if else. So if clone number is equal to 1 and not 1, if clone number is equal to 2, then we go to one position, and else it means clone number is equal to 3. So in that case, we'll go to another position. So if clone number is 2, then we'll be going to 510, and the Y position is going to be 635. And if this is 665, I'm sorry about that. If this is not the case, then what you can do is to go to 1050, and the Y position in that case is going to be, I believe, negative 240. So right at the bottom where we collect the last coin. Okay, so that is pretty much it. So now when we hit test out our code, you can see that, okay, I'll actually make them go behind the costume because I think I aligned them pretty well just to make sure that there's some lava coming up. So you can actually change those things back to back layer so that, yeah, these spikes look a lot better than what they were. And yeah, right now I can just go through the sprites and nothing is really going to happen. So what we need to do right now is to set up the player death. Setting up our player death is very simple. So what you can do first is to head over to the platformer sprite, and I'm going to zoom out so that you can see better. And within our begin function, I'm going to make a new variable. So this variable is going to be called player died. Okay, and I'm going to be setting it for the sprite only, and it's a boolean variable, so yes or no, and that's why I added in a question mark. So for this sprite only, then click OK, and initially I'm going to be setting player died to be no. Okay, since the player is alive. And within our main message or the play game message, what I'm going to be doing is changing this code up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to remove all this code within the inner forever loop and throw out that forever loop entirely. And what I'm going to have in its place is instead a repeat until, and that's why we had a forever loop up and a repeat until down. So what I'm going to be doing is obviously platformer engine, and after that what we can do is we can say repeat until game player died is equal to yes. So player died is, and you actually don't even need the outer forever loop when I think about it, but anyway, let's just have that in place. So repeat until player died is equal to yes, and if it is yes, then what we can do is to scroll down below right here and instead have in two new functions. Okay, and I'm going to scroll all of this below because this is going to be taking a little bit of space. So the first function I'm going to make is going to be called death animation. So this is going to be the play animation that the sprite is going to perform, just a couple of hides and shows. And the second animation is going to be not animation really. The second function which we're going to use here is going to be reset level. So I'm going to do that all in caps. So reset level, perfect. And thinking about it, I'm actually going to just remove this forever loop since we wouldn't really need it. So remove this forever loop. Perfect. So now what we can do is right here, we need to define these two functions, and I'm going to drag them all the way below because there's next to no space here. And yep, we're going to do it here. So within death animation, your code is going to be very simple. Okay, we're just going to have repeat 3 times, and we're going to follow that up with we're going to repeat 3. We're going to actually, let me just throw in the code right away. So I'm going to say show. I'm going to grab a show and a hide, and I'm going to add in a small wait lag. So wait 0.1 seconds. Okay, so here we're going to say hide. Here we're going to say show, and yeah, let's repeat 3. There we go. That is your death animation, and that is going to perform its role. So after we're done with this, keep in mind we are shown at the end, so we don't really have to change anything just as yet. But just for good measure's sake, it's better to add in a show within our initializer, but I just realized we added it within our begin, so that's fine. Okay, so now for the reset level, our code is once again extremely simple. So all I'm going to say is broadcast, and wait. So everything that we do when the green flag is pressed, I'm going to say broadcast initialize and wait, and then I'm going to say broadcast play game and wait. So now when we hit the green flag and then we just randomly hit an obstacle, Now you can see nothing really happens, and that is because we haven't changed up our Boolean value just as yet. So what we can do is to head over to our spikes and lava, and within this move obstacle function, we can add in a simple collision checker. So if touching platformer, then well, we're just going to set up that variable correctly. So I'm going to say set player died to be yes. So the player has, oh yeah, so you want to make sure you set it to a global variable. I'm really sorry for that. So what I'm going to be doing is making another variable called player died, and yeah, for all sprites, and I'm going to change all the, I'm going to just delete this variable. But actually, let me show that variable. No, I'm not going to show. I'm going to change in all the instances of that variable, and I think there aren't too many, so you should be done with this pretty quickly. So set player died to be no, and set player died right here to be yes. Okay, so now you can delete that player died variable and no changes. Okay. And now within our spikes and obstacles sprite, you can set player died to be yes, and this is going to basically exit that repeat until loop. And within our platformer, I also realized I forgot to add in that reset level function at the end. So head over to blocks and say reset level. So now when we hit the green flag, and let's actually hide the player died variable, we don't really want that shown. And now when I just go ahead and hit an obstacle, you can see our level restarts, and that is already a huge improvement. And the same thing does not happen with the water sprite, however. So what you need to do is to do the same thing for the water sprite. So when we receive move obstacle, then I'm going to check if touching player, or rather platformer in this case, then we will just set the player died variable to be yes. So set player died to be yes, and I set that to be level accidentally, so set player died to yes, and this will once again do exactly what we need it to. And oops, I accidentally died in another one, so yep, there we go, and boom, our level restarts, and that's pretty cool. And that's it we'll be doing in this video. I did want to cover a little bit more, but I think I've already spent enough time, and we already have a pretty big improvement. So in the next couple of videos, we will be finishing off our game. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.